What will you do if the person sitting next to you on a flight suddenly turns into a flesh-hungry zombie, and there's nowhere to run at 30,000 feet? Before we dive in, if you enjoy horror and mystery movie recaps, then you are in the right place. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. Thank you. Our story begins in the cargo hold of a plane where a strange experiment box is being transported with one man assigned to guard duty. When the plane hits a storm, the violent shaking breaks the straps holding the box and the container cracks open and a woman comes out who looks confused and disoriented. Above, the men responsible for the experiment were immediately alerted to the sound because this seemingly harmless experiment is not simple. Down in the hold, the guard opens fire on her but accidentally hit an electrical panel, knocking out the plane's communication. Confused, the woman begs him not to shoot, and he agrees, but when she steps out with her hands raised, the guard immediately fires decisively, thinking it is over. But just when he was changing bullets, the woman's body suddenly disappeared. Before the guard could react, the woman who had turned into a zombie had already appeared in front of him. Meanwhile, the passengers are unaware of the danger, as some still have time for clapping exercise in the bathroom. Due to the constant bumping of the plane, Dr. Bennett, the owner of the experimental box, was afraid that something would happen, so he asked the co-pilot to go with two assistants to check it out. But when they arrived at the cargo hold, they found that the electrical box was damaged. The experiment box was also empty. Sensing danger, the two assistants tried to leave, but a zombie suddenly attacked them while the mutated guards tore the other apart. Only the co-pilot escaped and ran to Bennett, demanding to know what was in the experiment box. Bennett realized the subject had escaped, and the co-pilot rushed to the cockpit to warn the captain, insisting that they land at the nearest airport or everyone on board would die. There was no place to land, so they turned back and called TSA agent Judd to the cockpit. After hearing the situation, Judd questioned Bennett about the experiment, but Bennett refused to reveal anything, citing confidentiality. With no choice, Judd and his partner Burroughs entered the cargo hold where they found only blood but no bodies. Spotting the ventilation duct, they decided to split up and investigate. Not long inside, Judd came face to face with a zombie and fired. Hearing the shot, Burroughs rushed back, only for the zombie to lunge at him. Judd grabbed it to pull it away, but his gun accidentally discharged, and the bullet tore through the cabin floor and injured a flight attendant, causing panic among passengers. He was forced to drop the weapon, and grabbed the zombie with his hands, finally killing it after several shots. The flight attendant was about to report to the captain about the situation in the cabin, but did not notice the zombie behind her. She was bitten in the neck on the spot. Hearing the screams, the captain immediately called the co-pilot to go with a gun and check. The zombie was trying to drag the flight attendant down. The co-pilot opened fire and quickly closed the cargo door. Passengers heard the sound of gunfire and gathered around. The co-pilot hurriedly locked the cargo door tightly. A girl went to the toilet and was attacked by a zombie hiding behind the mirror. Hearing the noise, her boyfriend rushed over, but when he opened the door she was gone. As he turned, she reappeared as a zombie, and grabbed a passenger. A flight attendant tried to help, but was bitten on the arm. Luckily, the plane's sudden climb pulled the zombies back into the cargo hold. No one realized that a single bite meant infection. On the other side, the co-pilot was locking the cabin door when the flight attendant who had just been bitten suddenly mutated. Before he could react, he was bitten by a zombie. Passengers heard the sound and ran over to check, but the zombies would not let them go. At this point, Dr. Bennett panicked and ran to the cabin door for shelter. When the passengers heard Bennett's cry for help, they were even more frightened. Billy went to the plane's cockpit door and questioned Bennett about what was going on, but Bennett was already scared and said he had to find a place to hide. A zombie suddenly appeared from behind him, but Billy reacted quickly and knocked her down the stairs with a stick. The zombies have poured into the aircraft cabin through the broken hole. Billy came downstairs and picked up the pistol dropped by the co-pilot. But the cargo door suddenly opened, making Billy fall. But it was only Judd and Burroughs entering. They told him to hide while they cleared zombies in the cabin. Meanwhile, in the other section, the bitten flight attendant mutated and almost attacked a stewardess before a male passenger rescued her. Survivors regrouped, but with infection spreading, they blocked passages with cargo and armed themselves. On the other side, some survivors crawled into a ventilation pipe, but when the plane suddenly dived, causing the fuselage to shake violently, both a woman and Bennett fell straight into a horde of zombies and ended up as zombie food. In the end, only Billy and his wife found Judd and the others. Meanwhile, the captain suddenly heard the co-pilot's cry for help. Unaware of this, he decisively opened the door but did not know that the co-pilot had been bitten. A zombie came along with him and bit the captain. The captain had a hard time closing the door. When he turned around, the co-pilot had already mutated. The few people left realized they couldn't just sit there and wait for the plane to land safely. So they immediately contacted the cockpit, but no one answered. The plane was uncrewed, but it was in autopilot mode. They were going to get up and go to the cockpit to find out what was going on, but they were running out of bullets. To get to the cockpit safely, they had to get to the cargo hold and get the weapons the guard had dropped. Burroughs gathered supplies to build a bomb, lit it, and hurled it into the cargo hold. The explosion wiped out most of the zombies, allowing him to enter, recover a guard's weapon, and return. Just then, a fighter jet appeared outside. At first it seemed like rescue, but the military had actually decided to destroy the plane to stop the infection, giving the survivors only 3 minutes to prove they were alive. With time running out, they learned one passenger could fly the plane, so the group prepared to fight through the zombies to reach the cockpit and send a distress signal. As they pushed forward, the horde was overwhelming, and Billy and his wife were bitten. Knowing what awaited them, they chose to cover the others' escape to the cockpit. The couple was surrounded near the plane hatch, so they decided to open the hatch and die with the zombies. Then, Burroughs and another passenger made it to the cockpit safely, but just as they were about to radio for help, the fighter jet launched its missiles. The two men tried to steer the plane to avoid the bombing, but the missile hits the plane anyway. A gaping hole was blown in the passenger cabin. A large number of zombies were sucked out. The airliner descended rapidly and soon broke through the clouds. Luckily, the two were mentally tough and landed the plane safely in the desert. The only 4 surviving people escaped from the disaster. But they did not know that a few zombies also survived. It seems that the crisis does not end there. Well, remember to subscribe for more recaps, and I will see you in the next video.